In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and Chinese-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
And welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser, this is my husband Joe, and that was the sound of a small beer being poured.
Hello.
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 How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. So yeah, this podcast is brought to you by Estrella.
Estrella.
I don't speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Estrella. Okay.
Yeah, beer.
Spanish beer. I haven't even had any yet.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's getting a bit close to Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, man. Our little cottage looks so Christmassy right now. It kind of looks like there's been an explosion in a Christmas lights factory, doesn't it?
Your parents seem to have been collecting Christmas lights for the last 20 years.
Oh, it's bonkers. Yeah, so...
Lunacy.
Okay. So last time my mum and dad were here with my niece, with my brother's little girl, we were talking...
Hi, Ella.
Ella does not listen. I hope. Ella is 10. We were talking about Christmas because we were making plans for what we're going to do over Christmas and all the rest of it, and we're going to my mum and dad's for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about decorating the house, and my mum is like me. I get my love of Christmas decorations and Christmas cheer from my mum.
Mm-hmm.
And Ella loves Christmas too because she pays attention to... Basically, she thinks I'm ace. And
she's 11.
And she's 10.
10.
And yeah, so she was really excited about Christmas as well. And so Mom suggested that maybe they could come and help us put the Christmas decorations up. And I was like, that's a great idea. So on Saturday, Mom and Dad trundled all the way over from Nuneaton, which is in Warwickshire, near where we used to live, all the way over here with Ella in tow. And, well, not in tow, she was in the car.
She was in the car.
Yeah, that would have been mean. And we went and got a Christmas tree first thing when they got here from the Christmas tree farm, and that was fun. And then we decorated the house and kind of cleaned as well because we're renovating this crazy cottage, and so it's in a bit of a state. Downstairs isn't too bad, but it's kind of when you take a proper look at the walls and things,
Bit of a building site.
It's a bit of a building site. Downstairs isn't too bad. But it hasn't, there's kind of been stuff dumped in corners as you do, because we're renovating the place. We haven't made it nice. We've made it nice, but we've not made it, it's not finished, basically.
It's definitely not finished.
There's boxes scattered all over the place, and there are kind of piles of stuff. And
you stop seeing it after a while, don't you?
You do, and it was just things like yoga mats and a sewing box and a bag of old curtains that were kind of stuffed in the corner of the living room.
That hasn't really found a home.
Yeah, and it was like a pile of pictures and paintings, because there's no point in putting paintings up yet because we don't know where anything's going to go, and so they were just kind of stacked in the corner of the room, and everything was just kind of put there, and it just was a bit of a mess at the back of the room, wasn't it?
It was.
So as well as putting all the decorations up, we've also massively tidied the front room, and it looks really nice now. We're sort of like, oh my goodness, it's actually a really nice room.
It's all right. It looks good. I like it.
But back to the explanation of the lights.
That there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe. There's from where I am sat, there are 7 different sets of lights, not even counting the ones on the tree.
Yeah, there's 6. It makes all the difference.
Makes all the difference. One's in the porch.
One's in the porch. Yeah, so
it's and they're a mix. We got red ones and ropey ones and bright white ones and golden ones, and some that make the place look like some kind of festival pirate ship.
No, it's awesome. We've got these little lantern, they are like little lantern things, and we've strung them. Well, I didn't. I came in and presumably you and Dad put them up with my bunting that I made a few years ago, because I made a load of Christmas bunting a few years ago, and it's been strung up, and Joe reckons it looks like some kind of a festive pirate ship, and I just think it looks fab. So I'm in 7th heaven right here because I completely love Christmas, and so I'm just surrounded by fairy lights.
The advantage of an old timber house is you can stick pins everywhere. and hang your lights off everything.
Which is somewhat ironic because a week ago we spent hours removing all of the pins that we could find from the timbers, and now we've just hammered a whole bunch more in. So there you go.
What are we doing today? What are we talking about?
We're talking about Christmas again.
Ugh.
That's not true. We're not. Well, we kind of are. Okay, so the title of this podcast is "Now is not the time to slack off."
Right.
Yeah. So today's title is just basically because I am so bitter that I'm so bloody busy before Christmas. I mean, what is it with last minute shenanigans? Are you really busy right now?
Yeah, we've got customers who are desperately trying to spend their budget.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll lose it next year, which is ridiculous in itself. But yeah, we've had one major customer who we've not even dealt with before. We haven't even got a relationship with these guys.
Yeah.
We don't know them. I know who they are.
Yeah.
And they've come to us and they've pretty much said, "Can you just invoice us? Just hit us with a big invoice so that we can pay you some money."
I'll hit them with a big invoice if they want to pay somebody some money.
We haven't even defined the scope of the project yet.
Right.
They just want us to invoice them for something.
Can I invoice them for something?
They probably wouldn't object at this point.
Well, I think you should talk to them. What do you reckon?
Bonkers.
Yeah. Sorry, my screen just went dark. I'm just making sure it's still recording.
Right. So anyway, yes, it's got busy. It's
got good. Yeah. Well, not good. Obviously, not good. Well, I don't know. It's good, but yeah, I've been like, I need to kind of do a little bit of marketing, find some new clients, blah blah. Private clients rather than my normal kind of marketing. And then suddenly, everybody and his wife wants my words, which is kind of cool, but also 2 weeks to Christmas.
Better start writing some words. Did you write some words today?
I've written some words today, yes. Yes, I have. I have written some words today, that is, yes.
That's a no, not really, isn't it?
No, I have. I've written words today. I've faffed a lot as well. But okay, so I'm really busy before Christmas. But here's what a lot of people do when it's busy just before Christmas. They say stuff like, I'll start that project in the new year. There's only 2 weeks left until Christmas. I can't possibly do it now. And I call bullshit on that for 2 reasons. First of all, you won't start the project in the new year because something else will get in the way. Second of all, you can get a hell of a lot done in 2 weeks.
Yes.
A lot. Because I think I've got this theory that most of the time taken up by projects is taken up at the beginning where you're going, oof.
We're going to have to start this at some point.
Yeah, just going to have to start. And I don't know if we should. And we could just start in a couple of weeks. And let's plan it all out in great detail. And
colour in the calendar and all that.
Yeah, let's have a meeting. And I have this theory that actually at least 60% of all project time is taken up with that kind of faffing. And I include myself in this as well, because this is like, I spent an inordinate amount of time faffing around this morning before I actually got started writing. Which is, I was going to say it's quite unlike me, but that would be a lie.
I've seen you faff. You're pretty good at it.
I'm very good at it. If there was an Olympic medal for faffing, I would be the gold medalist every single year. The dear listener, hi Vagod, might not know this, but what you do is you kind of set yourself a deadline. We will do this by 3:00, and then you find as many things as you can possibly find in all directions to prevent you doing that thing by 3:00. Maybe what I should do is sneak up on it then. So rather than I will do this thing by 3:00, maybe it's like I'm not going to do this thing at all. And maybe then I'll do it.
Yeah, maybe. Because normally it's like, first of all, before I do this thing, I shall retile the bathroom. And I shall, maybe I need to mow the lawn. And maybe I need to, hang on a minute, there's something else I need to do first. And you just go around and around in circles doing other things.
That's not true.
And then by the time it's 3:15 and I've got my shoes on and my jacket and I'm like 15 minutes late already, that's the point where you start the thing that you should have done by 3:00.
That's not true at all. That's a vicious lie. Anyway, back to the podcast.
There's a row in the room.
So yeah. Don't make this excuse of, there's only 2 weeks left until Christmas, so I'm not going to start anything new until after Christmas. Because you won't start anything. You won't start it anyway, you'll forget.
And by then you'll be in the habit of not doing it.
Yeah, just fucking get started. Do it. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a plan.
That's what?
We're going to make a plan.
Okay.
Well, we're kind of going to make a plan.
Is it going to be a real one or one that just gets in the way of doing the thing?
No. It's not going to get in the way of doing the thing. Well, we haven't really got a thing to do. I mean, I've got a lot of things to do. But, okay, so instead of what I'm talking about is kind of a generalised plan of action to get more stuff done in these short spaces of time rather than a plan for a specific thing, which can turn into a thing that stops you from doing the thing.
You might have to download the fact sheet on this one, folks. There's going to be a diagram, I can tell.
There's no diagrams. So instead of making some bullshit New Year resolutions that you're not going to keep, because you won't, because nobody ever keeps. It's like there's a stat that I may have made up in my head, but I'm pretty sure I read a study where they said that like 4% of New Year's resolutions got kept. 4. So
you might as well just have a mid-December resolution and a early December. That means you've got to start that thing 20 times before it sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? We could talk about habits today, but that's a whole different podcast.
That's a whole different podcast.
Oh, we could do habits.
Put it on the list
in the January podcast. Well, I can't now. I'm talking now. I can't type and you put it on the list in your brain.
Okay.
So yeah, don't make New Year's resolutions because you won't keep them ever. You might keep one of them, possibly.
4% of you might keep them.
4% of you might keep one of your resolutions. So just don't bother with them. They're bullshit. Instead, let's do something else. People seem to think that I get crazy amounts of work done. I don't think that I actually do. I think I do crazy amounts of faffing. But people tell me that I'm like this powerhouse of getting stuff done. And you've said that to me before as well. I know you joke about me faffing, but you say I get lots of stuff. No, the thing is, I don't feel like I do. I feel like I spend all my time faffing. So I actually was... God, can you imagine how much I would get done if I didn't faff and actually did stuff?
I think sometimes the faff is part of the thinking process, though, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's really just faffing.
I nearly this morning, because as worrying about burning the house down last night, as I went to bed, I turned off all of the sockets downstairs because we've got those multi-plug things connected to multi-plug things connected to multi-plug things with fairy lights attached to all of them.
No, it's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
No, it isn't.
So, not wishing to burn the house down while we were asleep, I unplugged a whole bunch of stuff. I turned a whole bunch of stuff off. One of the things I turned off...
Do you know what I find hilarious, though? Joe's just said that he kind of went in this panic about burning the house down and turning things off. And the smoke alarm that I have asked him at least 76 times to put up now that would, alert us to the house burning down is still in its packet in the Rayburn room.
That was very sexist of you.
No, it wasn't sexist.
It totally was. It's like I'm the only one who can find a screwdriver.
No.
What's that about? Jesus.
It's not sexist. It's just I asked you to do it.
Sexist. Why don't you put this... I'll ask you. Why don't you put the smoke detector up?
Because I put the carbon monoxide detector up and the smoke alarm is your job.
What? Right.
You got the answer to that, have you?
You hung it on a screw that was there anyway. Anyway, so I unplugged. I actually turned off the internet while I was unplugging things.
That's why my internet didn't work this morning.
I know, and I really considered not turning it on to make you get up.
Well, no, I did get up because I had my buddy call with Mark this morning.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. I had that. Anyway, what did that have? Oh, okay, so that was a roundabout way of getting back to the...
That was the Vicky procrastinating.
So, anyway, because people are always accusing me of being some kind of superhero getting shit done woman, I thought I would share the secret to my getting shit done success, which I think is largely fictional, but other people seem to think is a thing.
Okay.
So, anyway, can you imagine how much I would get done if I actually stopped faffing and knuckled down a bit more? The thought of how much I could get done actually makes me feel a bit tearful.
Why don't you just do that?
Well, maybe I should. Yeah, I should do. I will. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to share the secret. And it's so secret that I don't really even know what it is. But here's what I do. What I do is I don't make any bullshit New Year's resolutions for a start, because they're nonsense. I used to, and then I was like, why do I do this? I don't plan my years in advance, because that boggles my brain. It's like some people will kind of be like, right, this year I am going to do these things. And I struggle to see like a few weeks into the future, let alone an entire year into the future. So, and you know me, I'm interested in so many things. I'll be like, I'll change direction 8 times. I'll be headed in generally the general direction of where I want to be, but I'll be like a cocker spaniel. If you're wondering what that means, by the way, if you Google cocker spaniel straight line, you'll see like a little diagram where you get
lines that are not straight.
Yeah, a person walking and then a Cocker Spaniel do it. It looks like a child scribbled on it.
That's what they're for, though. They're trained to do that.
Yeah, I know. So, we should tell them about the mystery of the dingle log in a bit.
Oh,
but not now.
Well, okay. Because now you're doing, this is the real bit of the podcast.
Yeah, this is the real bit. So, yeah, I can barely think a few weeks ahead, let alone an entire year. So I have kind of a vague long-term plan for where I want my business to go and what direction I want it to go in. But details are, to me, there's no point in planning the details of that in like a year in advance because it's going to change. And that's kind of tactics versus strategy, and tactics change and strategies are kind of internal. So what I do is I work in 3-month increments. I set a great big goal, and usually another goal, a smaller goal, and a personal goal. So a big business goal, probably a smaller business goal to go with.
So what would be an example of a business goal?
Okay, so a business goal would be. Oh, you see, I haven't got my planner.
But I remember you ferociously sitting down and writing a book.
Yes, so I wrote my book in 90 days, hence the Write and Publish a Book in 90 Days course, for which there is a special offer coming. Or there would be if I'd had time to put it together. And
then another one would be the book course, I guess, because that was a ferocious lump of activity that you got out. In
3 months, because I was like, right, between the last 3 months and the next 3 months, it was going to be, I'm going to put a course together. And I did. And then there was, I'm going to do my workshop, and that was a 3-month thing. In fact, that was this 3-month thing, and I think that's why I've got less done since the workshop, because my 3-month goal finished halfway through my 3-month kind of period. So anyway, yeah, so I have these bits. So that's an example of a big goal. An example of a smaller goal might be, I might... I can't think of an example of a smaller goal now. It might be, I might be putting together like a new email sequence, which it's not like a massive chunk of work. It's quite easy for me to do because I do that kind of almost naturally. And then my personal goal might be, I'm going to get the splits in 3 months, which has been my personal goal, by the way, for the last 3 years. And I've still not managed it because I hate stretching. So maybe I should just give up on that. I don't know. So that is what I do. I set my 3-month goal and then I give myself 3 months to achieve it. And I reward myself if I hit my goal. So I've planned myself a great big reward for my successful workshop. I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, I'll look that up. So that's what I've been doing for the better part of a year and a bit. And it works like a dream. I've stopped kind of doing long-term plans and I've just been doing my...
You just pick the next 3-month things that need doing.
Yeah, and it's just... what it does is it compresses your big goals down to a period that, stuff that people might say, this year I'm going... And I've picked up one of my Inner Circle members about this, actually, because he sent me this amazing set of goals and stuff for his business. I was well impressed, and I got him to share it with the other guys in the Inner Circle, because I'm just like, this is the best planning thing that I've ever seen. And it's much better than what I do. And, he was kind of using the principles that I taught him, but he's taken it and made it better. And I love it when people do that. And I kind of looked at it. I was like, this is awesome. And then I said, you know what? Shorten everything by at least 3 months, because you are going to achieve these goals in way quicker time than you think you're going to do it. And the advantage of doing that, bringing that deadline forward, is that you will make yourself work harder for it, because the nature of people is that if you give yourself a 12-month goal, it'll take you 12 months to do it.
For sure.
For sure. If you give yourself a 3-week goal, it will take you 3 weeks to do it. It's always good to try and kind of, because the way I work... And
even if the result of the 3-week goal isn't as finished as isn't as complete or as polished as the 12-month goal, it's got 11 months and 1 week's worth of being in existence.
Yeah.
To be useful. So, if you could spend 10 years writing a book, or you could spend 3 months writing a book.
Writing the first edition.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good point. I'm just going to jump in and interrupt you there, because I just wanted to point out that what Joe has just said there is actually quite profound, which is...
Quite profound, folks. Quite profound.
Because that's another thing that will stop you getting stuff done, is trying to make it perfect. Because there is no such thing as perfect. And the thing about everything that you do is you can make it better, and you should make it better. So if you think about everything you do as being version 1 of your thing, then you think, well, okay, I've done version 1 in 3 months. The next 3 months, I'm going to do version 2, or it's going to be a continuous improvement. So for my workshop, that was version 1. And, it went down brilliantly, but I already know what I'm going to do to improve it. Because I made loads of notes, and you were there, and you can help me improve it as well.
Sure.
And, I'm getting feedback from people. They've all said very nice things, and I'm kind of hoping that they're going to say some not less nice things, but helpful, improvement things. But that's the thing, you see, because I'm going to improve it. Version 2 is going to be
stronger.
stronger, yeah, and kind of tighter, and yeah. So that's another benefit of it. I kind of derailed myself now, but that was a really important point, and I felt like I had to.
But if you're making a product, make a product. Get it out there.
Because
then it's selling, then it's live, it exists, it works, it's generating you money and stuff.
And most of the stuff that you'll be faffing with details is just details. It'll be things like the look and design of it, and that stuff, while it's not unimportant, is far less important than actually getting it out there to people and giving people value. Because, and I tell you what now, whatever you think is wrong with your product or service or book that you're writing, other people will not see it.
Yeah,
they absolutely won't. I read back some of the bits from my book now, and I kind of cringe, and I'm like, geez, I really need to rewrite that. But the feedback I get from my book is people love it. It's like this podcast. Sometimes I think it's ridiculous, but
what are we doing?
I've never had bad feedback on it, which makes me slightly suspicious that we haven't got more than 3 listeners. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, basically, set a 3-month goal. It works really, really well because it compresses all of your deadlines, and it means that you will work to that deadline. Yep. It's like you get everything done in the last 10 minutes before every deadline. That's just what happens. So set a 3-month goal. Identify things that need to happen for you to reach that goal, and then break those things down into smaller things that you need to do every day or every week, and write them down, and then break that down into even smaller tasks. So it just becomes, you kind of work backwards. You say, I want to get to point Z. What are the steps that I need to take to get there? Sure. And it really is as simple as that. And I use a planner to break my day up into hours and minutes and record all of my time, which has 2 benefits. So the first thing is I know what I'm supposed to be doing and when, which is really, really useful because it's less faffing. And 2, I know how long stuff takes me, which is always longer than I think it's going to take me.
For sure. Yeah.
But the more I do this, the better I get at estimating it. It's a good thing to do, recording your time. And thirdly, I feel monumentally guilty when I find myself faffing, so that's actually 3 benefits. There's probably loads more benefits as well. But it sounds really regimented, and you'll get people who are like creative. I'm doing those awful air quotes right now. Creative people going, oh man, you can't constrain my brain. But actually, the most successful artists and musicians and writers over the years don't kind of have this nebulous kind of, lounging around waiting for inspiration to strike thing. They set aside time and they work their butts off. And it's like, I cannot remember which author did this now, and that's really annoying. It's somebody like Hemingway, but I don't think it was Hemingway. And he used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning and work for 2 hours before he went to his bank clerk job to write. He used to write. They were his 2 hours. He would get up that early every single day and write for 2 hours. And that is how he became the famous author whose name I've forgotten. But Stephen King, well, he has a very regimented writing schedule. He doesn't sit down and wait for inspiration to strike out of the blue because it never will. That's not how it works.
Barbara Cartland. She wrote like 700 books or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because she did it for a living.
And if you think that she sat around and kind of had this, non-schedule swanning around life, you're dead wrong.
Yeah. No, she just got up and did it.
Yeah. Read brilliant book, which I've given to Joe to read because I know you'll enjoy it. Born Standing Up. It's Steve Martin's autobiography, all about his years as a stand-up comic. Man, he worked hard. Jerry Seinfeld is another one. If you want to know about, creativity and that kind of thing and how to get stuff done, just listen to Jerry Seinfeld talk about how he learned to write jokes, because it is not that people are inherently funny or they're born artists. They work at it. They work really, really hard. So if the kind of idea of regimenting your day down into hours sounds really off-putting, then you can carry on doing what you're doing, or you can become a powerhouse of productivity and get a load of shit done. And by the way, have more free time, because if you use that time in your day really effectively, then that means you won't be doing what I was doing tonight and working until 8 o'clock, which is actually really rare for me, isn't it?
Yeah, it is now.
It is these days. I used to do that, but
is recording a podcast at 9:20 on a Monday night, is that working?
Yeah, no, this is fun.
Yeah.
We're drinking beer.
We're drinking beer. More beer.
So you see, Joe's had a glass of beer already and I have not. So yeah, basically, that's what I do. Whenever I forget, or for whatever reason I don't do this daily planning exercise, my productivity plummets. And
how often do you do this daily planning?
I do it every day, apart from the last week, because I went off to...
So every morning you sit down and you plan your day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the evening before. I try and do it the evening before. or very first thing.
But do you have like standard chunks of time? Like, Monday mornings is client work and 7 to 8 o'clock is daily email and all that kind of stuff. There's some sort of standard behaviour. Yeah, so the very first thing I do every morning is my daily email. The second thing I do is my cartoon. Mm-hmm. And the third thing I do is a marketing task. Basically the first 2 or 3 hours of every day on my own, and that's when I do my own business work. Stuff for your business. After that, it's either my own business work or client work if I've got client work on. And that's the way my thing works. And then I have my lunch between, 12 o'clock, I'll check my emails and reply to them and sort them out. Mm-hmm. 5 p.m, I'll do the same thing. Lunch and not between. Lunch is 12:30 till 1:30. Sometimes I'll have an extra half hour. My days are very, very regimented. And some days I finish slightly earlier than others. But yeah, that's how I do it. It's a really cool thing. And I use a planner. I've actually fallen off the wagon a bit because I didn't take my planner to Ireland with me for my mastermind group. Oh, yeah. And I've just not done it since then. But like I said, I've got so much on this 2 weeks anyway that basically I am just client work until Christmas, which is fine. But yeah, that's it. And I use this planner, and it's a very good one. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm going to make a new one because I can think of a few ways that I can improve upon it for me. My inner circle members will all obviously get one as a gift when I've created it. Cool. In fact, I could make that one of my... It won't be the first one because I've got something else I want to do next year, first thing. But it might be a goal.
But yeah, it might be the summer goal. Will be to produce a 3-month planner thing. My inner circle members will get a gift of it, and I will make it available to non-inner circle members at an eye-watering price. Or maybe I won't make it available to non-members at all. Or maybe, most likely, I'll sell it at a modest price. But it'll be a really cool thing. My point with all this, anyway, is that planning 3 months at a time rather than 12 months is really, really effective. You get an awful lot of stuff done, an awful lot more stuff than you would otherwise.
There's a book, isn't there?
The 12-week year.
The 12-week year.
Yes.
Who's that by?
Brian Moran.
Well done.
I know, thanks. It is a very good book, actually. I kind of skim read it because it's a whole book about the idea of basically what I've just told you now. So, you can read it or not read it, but but they give examples and that kind of thing, and their thinking behind it. They go a bit deeper into the psychology of it than I'm doing now. Because, hey, it's a free podcast. And if you want that kind of deep psychology stuff, you got to join the Inner Circle.
Or buy a book.
Or buy their book, yeah. So, all of this was by way of saying, if you don't think you have time to do something before Christmas, you do. Absolutely you do. Just JFDI.
Just get on with it.
Yeah, just get on with it. So my final top tip for this episode, and this is a really good tip, do an annual review. It doesn't have to take long. All I want you to do is sit down and list all of your big wins, all of the things that you have accomplished this year. Because if you're anything like me, you have a tendency to think, what have I done? I've done nothing. I've done none of the things I wanted to do. But actually, when you sit down and make a list of all the stuff that you have done this year, I think you'll be really, really surprised. So I kind of did this informally the other day, and I was like, what have you done? And somebody pointed out, you're sitting in your dream home. And it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that. I did my book course, which I sold before Christmas, but I didn't actually do it until after Christmas.
Yep.
I did my workshop.
Did your first workshop?
I turned over 6 figures for... the second time, actually. I did it for the first time the year before, but, maintained that. Yeah, also, all sorts of stuff that you think, that you don't remember that you've done, really. So sit down and write that, and also write down your losses, the things that you would have liked to have done that you didn't do, and have a think about why you didn't achieve them.
Yeah. Do you still want to do them? Do you really want to do them? Because
sometimes you don't achieve stuff because you don't really want to, and that's fine. So don't beat yourself up about the stuff that, the stuff that doesn't, you don't really want to do anyway. If you do really want to do it, then make that your 3-month goal for January. No, for now.
For now.
Start now. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. Next week, coming up, Joe and I will be talking about how to start 2017 with a bang.
Okay.
And we'll be telling you about the mystery of the dingle log, which we haven't got time for.
Oh, the dingle log.
The dingle log. We'll do that at the beginning of the next podcast.
Okay.
Oh, it's a mystery. We might have solved it by then.
We might have done.
I think we need a camera. Anyway, I'm making a few Borrow My Brain slots available before Christmas. So if you're stuck on getting started with something, borrow my brain.
Okay.
businessforsuperheroes.com/borrow my brain. And if you want in on the deep psychology gubbins that I share with my Inner Circle members, join the Inner Circle. businessforsuperheroes.com/Inner Circle.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it is good. It is good, Joe. So, with that, cheers. It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her. Don't do that.
I started trying out a new thing.
No.
Is it not good?
Don't do that.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.